Inside Bridgestone Arena. Pete Weber with Terry Crisp upstairs. And Terry has our Toyota starting Gardien debut.
Getting the call for the visiting New York Rangers, Cam Talbot's the one, a 4-1-0 record, a less than 2 goals against average, and a sparkling 94.3 save percentage from the University of Alabama Huntsville. And the home team are coming right back with their youngster who's been winning games for them. Marek Mazonets will go head-to-head with Talbot tonight.
Predators start the Legwand line. The Rangers will counter by the line centered by Derek Stepan, who has Chris Kreider on his left side. And on his right will be Matt Zuccarello, and we are underway. Here's the defense tandem for Nashville of Jones and Klein. Puck comes along the boards, held in the zone. Tapped in the air and comes out, stopped by the skate of Klein. Kreider trying to force Seth Jones. A two-man regroup there. As Stepan dumps it into the zone for the Rangers. Put up the wall for Legwand. Victor Stahlberg is on the right wing of this line. As the Rangers have changed up now. Stralman, another former Columbus Blue Jacket out there. As the shot in goes wide of the net. And the Predators touch up for the icing, and Terry gives you his Ford keys to the game.
First one tonight is a strong start for the Nashville Predators. Set the tempo, establish their forecheck, get on them, push their defense, and solid puck control. Strong start. Nullify Nash. Yeah, Rick Nash. We've seen him enough times, Pete, in uniforms against us. Power forward loves to score against Nashville. Eliminate him.
He loves to score against everybody, though, doesn't he?
That's true. He just sort of picks on us.
There is Nash, and that shot sticked aside by Mazanets. Colin Wilson accelerates up ice. Patrick Hornqvist holds on, tried to shift gears, and the puck slid away to Callahan for New York. Puck dumped behind the Nashville net. Each side will take advantage of a chance to change up. Hagelin came in deep for New York. Here's a shot missing the net, and Cam Talbot. Long rebound out to center ice. Ryan Ellis kept that away from the charging winger. Rangers back in their zone. We are a minute and a half plus into this one. Nudged into the zone from outside left by ex-Blue Jacket again, Derek Brassard. And we have a whistle here with a hand pass, bringing us to our injury report, which is presented to you by Vanderbilt Sports Medicine. Out for the Rangers, Taylor Pyatt, along with J.T. Miller and Justin Fall. For the Predators, it is Pekka Rinne, who we had the chance to chat with this morning. Philip Forsberg, Rich Kloon, and Matthias Ekholm. Meaning tonight, returning to the lineup, and he's on the ice right now on the left wing, Eric Nystrom. He is on the left side of Paul Gostad. The right winger there is Matt Hendricks. Slid up the boards, held in. Taking it down is McDonough. McDonough carries all the way in. Tried to flip it out in front. Then he was checked by Hendricks. Big Brian Boyle tapped the puck into the corner. He gets it back out of the scrum. Throws one wide of the net. Boyle, Moore, and Derek Dorsey. Taken over and thrown by Moore in front to Dorsett. And coming across and sliding to block the path of that shot, Marek Mazanets. Pass off the right board. Hendricks had to double back. Now he'll carry out. And the Rangers go for a change. Lobbed into the boards off the right side of Talbot. Dan Girardi picks up for New York. Low into the Nashville zone. Stopped for Seth Jones. Stahlberg waits, made the sure pass. Cork will give to Klein. And the puck picked up by Stepan. And put up the left wing for Kreider, who tapped it back to the D-man. Ends up back of the stick of Kreider and stolen away by Stahlberg. His shot blocked, gets it back. Stahlberg to the blue line. Seth Jones the shot. Deflected up high into the corner. Stralman. Right-hand shot sort of turned there. Weber keeps in. Now it's Josi with a try. Zipped it right by the net. And the rebound out to center.
I hope we change those two fortunes. Pete, out there, we've had 3 good shots, not one of them on net.
Right.
Boys got to adjust their sights.
So there have been chances, but not shots on goal resulting. 3:50 gone here in the period. Rangers with the only 2 shots on goal. Callahan looks to his right. Finds Rick Nash. And Nash throws it wide to the backhand. He was hoping actually for a rebound try there, or so it appears. Nash turns, and that caroms off Mike Fisher. Stolen away from Yossi. Collision there. Here's Callahan coming on. His shot. Mazanec came out to meet it. So a kerfluffle by the Predators there. Turns into a chance.
Shades of Keystone Cops, Petey.
That's right. Here's Colin Wilson breaking in. Hornqvist tried to flip it toward the net. Trying to come out of that scrum, and now right circle it is for Callahan. Richards breaks up across the line. Bartley. Ellis has to take it off the right wall. Almost knocked down Hagelin. Sticking with that, backhanding into the zone, Hornqvist. On the left wing side, Craig Smith. Bartley with a try. Tap back for Smith. Smith works it inside, and it's taken away there. Derek Brassard, and they clear it back to the Nashville zone. Cullen just outside the line. Off the toe of the stick of Smith. He runs into Girardi. Spaulding comes over to help. Pouliot outlets the puck to Hagelin, and it goes down the boards to the Nashville zone. Klein with a soft lob into the corner.
So far, Pete, the one key we had, strong start, has not come to fruition for Nashville yet.
Here is
Moore.
Moore.
Got to get it tuned in.
Moore just avoided getting taken down there, but the penalty is drawn as Seth Jones will be going to the penalty box here with 5:31 gone in the first.
Nashville, number 3, 2 minutes, high sticking.
Jim Peel making the call.
Getting down that, yeah. I'm not sure where Seth Jones was going with that when he got the stick a little high. I think he misjudged the player coming around behind the net. Thought he was going to come up. Stayed low, caught him. High sticking. New York on the power play.
They are at 19.2% on the power play, tied for 15th in the league. And the Predators are 15th on the penalty kill. Predators, as they've been doing for a string of games now, begin with Gaustad and Hendricks couldn't clear the puck away. Richards on the left half board. Richards, Nash, and Callahan all up front for New York. Stepan and McDonough currently on the points, and McDonough drops it back. Here is Richards. Skating across the line, but an offside on the right wing. A break for Nashville there. So a minute 12 remaining on the penalty to Seth Jones.
So right now, Pete, I'm thinking head coach Barry Trotz got looking for a little pizzazz from his hockey club, a little energy, a little forechecking, a little. We used to have Clune, Gaustad, and Hendricks. We need that energy. Yep. Clune not dressed tonight, so that means that Nystrom will have to pick up the energy part left by Clune.
Well, the 2 gentlemen who each have scored and shorthanded goal this season are on his penalty killers right now. Spaulding and returning to the lineup, Eric Nystrom, as that one goes out of play.
And head coach Alain Vigneault. Well, we've seen him behind the Vancouver bench a lot of times. He was named head coach June the 21st. Previously, Vancouver and Montreal. He won the Jack Adams Trophy with the Canucks, beat in 06-07 for the top coach in the NHL that season.
And I thought he did a pretty darn good job in Montreal before that.
Yeah, you know what, Pete? I thought he did a pretty good job in Vancouver, too.
Here's Zuccarello breaking in, and Mazanec looked behind him and got help from behind. Cleared to the sideboard there. So Roman Josi came back to fire that puck to the corner. There was an extraordinarily close call. 32 seconds left on the power play. Zuccarello on the left half wall again. Nystrom with a backhand. Couldn't get it out around Girardi. Zuccarello didn't exactly float it, but Del Zotto knocks it down. Looking for the play again. Broussard. Tipped by Zuccarello, missing to the short side. 10 seconds left of the penalty. Rangers a lot of pressure in this power play, and the puck poked out. Delzato can't get it. Kicked onto the stick here, and now the shot is taken by Gaustad, and that one was blockered away by the goaltender, Cam Talbot. Another try from out front, and Talbot equal to the try there. So 7:36 gone in the period. Rangers stopped with the power play, and the Predators stopped. Coming back, still nada.
Pure speed. That's what Zuccarello shows coming down off the left wing on the power play. Gets the speed. Full flight comes in. Mazonis to the rescue. Makes the save. But take a look from the overhead. Mazonis is there. The puck is heading towards it. And Yossi says, oops, I brought it there. Right at the other end, seconds later, Gaustad on the penalty kill. Some nice forechecking, causing disturbances. The giveaway, Mike Fisher walks right down the zone. Hammers one. Cam Talbot bails his team out for some sloppy play in their end.
Well, evidently he's been doing that all year long. Ever since his recall from Hartford.
Hasn't he?
Yeah. Ryan Ellis with the try. Bounced off the board for Spaulding. And chipped out on the boards and knocked down at center by Ellis. Drills it in, right side to left. Cullen comes over attempting to play it. Reverse to the right side. Ellis comes down to the hash mark. Strallman over to his right. Tipped over. Dorsett was able to get it through. Boyle sort of flipped it in with the backhand. Boyle and Ellis. Now there's a matchup on the end boards. Moore put it up the wall. Hit by Spaulding.
3-1?
Yeah, something like that. Here now, Ellis got it out of his skates. And that deflected off Stahl. Colin Wilson comes on. He was tapped away from him again by Boyle. Lofted out. Over the shoulder of Kevin Klein. How many times does he line up so it comes right over his shoulder? Kevin Klein on the last road trip, that happened at least twice. Tipped in there by Fisher. McDonough just sort of tapped it in front. He was lucky Richards came right there. A little sloppy play in the Rangers' end in which the Predators were not able to capitalize.
Again, you almost get the little giveaway on that one.
Here's McDonough and to Richards right in his wheelhouse, and he fired it wide.
You just mentioned, if you alluded to the fact that in the New York Rangers defensive zone, they are sloppy. But the key to that is get on them.
Yeah.
Force them, push them.
Well, there was a force there by Nash. Stick save by Mazanets. And the puck tipped out by Hornqvist. 9:20 gone in the first. Hornqvist had the man haggling down. Legwand takes it. This pass went off the keister of Pouliot, and it's played back out to center to Broussard. Broussard down the right wing, holding on to it. And the backhander, and what a shot there by Pouliot, as that was taken away by Mazanets. Kreider gave the puck to Pouliot. They work it back to the D. Here is Stahl. Up to center. Pouliot falling down. And now Bork and a backhand try by Stahlberg wide. Legwand on the rebound off the end wall. Seth Jones deflected out of the circle. Played to center. Knocked down by Legwand. Just in ahead of Stahlberg. Poked at by Stahl. Kevin Klein nudges it low around Kreider. Rangers bringing the puck back out of the zone. It is Girardi. And into the skates of Stepan, who recovers. Tried a backhander that was smothered by Seth Jones. Up the boards and taken by Klein. And chipped back into the Rangers' end. Played there by Talbot and got it through and beyond Kreider, actually. And it's Shea Weber for Nashville. Number one unit out for the Rangers. And can you see how they are aligned right now? They back up a bit, but that was a perfect 1-2-2 illustration there. Very disciplined, this club, when they get the puck in your end. Yossi takes it off the end board. 11 minutes have been played in the first period. Shots are 7 for the Rangers, 2 for the Predators. Here's Paul Gaustad flinging it in. Reading that play on the right board. Flipped up to center. Here is Boyle. And it's Boyle again with Ellis. Moore down in the corner. Puck squirted free. Ellis could not clear it with the backhand. Dorsett all over him. Dorsett falls down. Ellis will get a second try to flip it out, and he does. McDonough for New York. Quick pass, trains bounce off the boards, and the Predators benefit. But Girardi settles down that bouncing puck and puts it behind the Nashville net. Bartley, seeing the puck get away, realized Callahan was bearing down. Turning right around was Hornqvist, and right in his face there was Girardi. Predators now back in their zone. Tire loss there by Shea Weber. And tripping will be the call. So with 12:01 gone in the first, nothing. Predators go on the power play when we return.
Here on the Preds bench with Ryan Ellis. Ryan, haven't seen the New York Rangers in quite a while. This Preds team has any surprises so far?
No, I think we watched a lot of video. I mean, they're a fast team. They look to exploit your mistakes, and we're doing a pretty good job so far, but we got to stay out of the box and just keep going.
Any problems stripping the puck off these 245-pound forwards like Brian Boyle?
Yeah, they're pretty big boys, but you just got to be smart around them, use your instinct, and hopefully you can get the puck.
There you have it from Ryan Ellis. All leverage, fellas, from the Preds bench. Back to you, Pete and Terry.
All leverage, all the time. That sounds like a title for a movie, doesn't
You
it?
should make a TV show of that. Leverage. I think there is
And,
one.
and it's not just a business show, though. How to leverage your buyouts. Yossi and Weber at the points. Legwand right half board. Hornqvist is in front. Out higher there. And now the shot by Weber missing the net. Big rebound. And Yossi able to keep it in. Here's Mike Fisher, the other Predator forward of this man advantage unit. Dealt back for Yossi. See how everybody collapses. Now Legwand with the puck. And Fisher the drive. Right off the goalie's chest, was it not? Or was it off Girardi? 1:02 remaining on the man advantage.
He stayed out, Pete Hornqvist, but he took that shot. And now he's laboring to the bench. Bent over. And he took the full brunt of that shot.
Hagelin and Dorsett, penalty killing forwards. Predators with another power play unit out. Matt Cullen will center this, along with Wilson and Smith. Here's Seth Jones, carries the puck. He's on with Ellis. Ellis to the corner. Stroman, Stahl there. Comes back for Ryan Ellis. Cullen sort of working like the lid of an umbrella right now, this power play. One man back, but it is Dorsett diving to poke it out. 10 seconds left in the power play. 0-0 here at Bridgestone. Ellis across the line, puts it in deep. Callahan about to step out of the box. He does. Power play is over, and the Predators not able to control. So Nashville on the power play, no shots on net. Still 0-0 at Bridgestone.
So much for that TV set, Pete.
Yeah.
Special teams,
Yeah.
power play, no shots. That doesn't compute.
No, it doesn't.
We're back to the drawing board.
As the Rangers send it down ice, right wing Zuccarello, you saw his speed earlier. As that little play to the middle went wide, Predators counter back with Stahlberg. Bork. Stahlberg lost the puck momentarily. Yossi comes on, and Talbot handles that shot at the top of his crease on the right side. 14:42 played, first period. Predators and Rangers, they're 0-0 at Bridgestone Arena.
Now it's time for the Hunt Brothers Pizza Save of the Week. And talking about savings, the Predators Gold Friday Super Sale starts this Thursday during the second intermission of the Predators-Oilers game. Get up to 50% off select Bridgestone Arena suites, events, Nashville Predators games, and merchandise. For more info, visit the Bridgestone Arena box office or call 615-770-7800 or go to NashvillePredators.com.
Moore in against Gaustad. And the Predators got a try, but missed the net. Here's Boyle. Backhand up the wall, read by Moore. Boyle comes over, puck on the right board. Hendricks battles with the defenseman McDonough. Dominic Moore circles on that wall. A high cycle for the New York Rangers. Callahan cutting to the front of the net, forced behind by Bartlett. Steps around in the corner. On his backhand is Callahan. One of those forwards who averages over 20 minutes a night for the Rangers. And perhaps there, as the puck tapped away from the blue line.
You get the distinct feeling, Pete, for Nashville Predators that coming through the neutral zone, you better have your head up.
Yes.
Because the Rangers are doing a good job of closing that gap in the neutral zone. They're coming right up, fast, in your face, getting good support by their forwards. I mean, when the defensemen pinch up and take that neutral zone away, the forwards are backing them up. They're coming back hard to make sure if anything does defy them, there's a forward backing them up.
Well, Callahan there, little backhand try off the stick of Mazzana. So you're right there, Terry. And it's something really that we saw them even under John Tortorella. Just didn't see them all that often with the no playing the other conference schedules. And Vigneault has continued with it. I think in Vancouver you can say he had a more free-flowing game.
Yeah, he sure did. With the forwards he had, Pete, he just turned them loose. Way you go, boys. We'll say goodbye to you at the national anthem and see you in intermission.
There you go. Girardi with another try, deflected away. Hagelin tried to get a piece of that for New York. Flip to the blue line, Girardi to keep it. Now again, keep track of the time the Rangers spend at the Nashville end here. And as I say that, the Predators break it out. Here's Legwand, the shot, Talbot the stop, and the rebound by Josi missed, and a follow-up try for Wilson. Here now is a try by Kevin Klein that deflected up high. Legwand turns again off the stick side of Talbot. So the Predators getting some sustained time now in the Ranger zone. Up off the glass, Girardi takes it up. Stallberg knocks him down, and it's Derek Brassard 2-on-2. Hagelin comes over after it. Klein got there, but Brassard over to help. Zuccarello flipped out in front. Seth Jones is there. Predators come out 3-on-3. Down the right side, Cullen runs into Zuccarello. Shakes him off, puts it across in front. Put off the boards, back to center. Drilled back in by Ryan Ellis. Del Zotto for New York. Turns it for Kreider. Chris Kreider, the former BC player. Zanitz almost stolen away from him behind the net. Ellis slips it over. Colin Wilson looking down the right wing. Stepping into it now, Bartlett. Backhands it wide to the short side. Coming off the bench was Gostad. It was, however, Bork who kept the puck in. Zuccarello sweeps it in for New York. Zanitz very deliberately puts it onto the right board. It is tipped out to center. Gostad picked it up. Comes in now. And the pass over toward Hendrick, tapped up in the air. He didn't have a chance to play it then.
I think the young netminer, Pete, for Nashville, Mazonitz, he's learning that when he does go to the net to play it, he better do it fast because the Rangers are coming in very fast on the forecheck. 2 men, one each side.
Play through traffic by Nash. Nash tries to center. The OC sends it to the sidewall. Callahan right on it again. Callahan seems to be getting double shifted here. Nash for Callahan. That shot missed the Nashville net. McDonough out of that left circle. It is Nystrom returning to the lineup tonight. Pass intended for McDonough. Knocked down, hit the side of the net. Callahan, the captain of the Rangers, very persistent on it. Under a minute to play in the first period as Smith works against the veteran Richards, and the puck taken away by Captain Shea Weber. From center. Swept into the zone by Josi. 44 seconds to go as Talbot gives it to his D-man, McDonough. Pouliot off the skate, and that will turn into an offside with 35.2 to go in the period.
On the last good scoring chance, Legwand started on the rush, coming through, takes the shot, nice shot. Rebound comes to Josi. He just can't get it, sort of fluttering on him, but Leggy takes the shot. Josi following up for that rebound, couldn't get any good lumber on it. And then right in behind that also, Wilson had a semi-good scoring chance, Pete. So here in a period that hasn't produced a lot of scoring chances.
No.
You're sort of searching for them right now to see, okay, what do they have to do?
Well, first, how about a clean breakout?
There you go. And how about getting through the neutral zone
There you
with
go.
the puck? And how about taking it to the net?
And getting after the puck down low.
Yeah, we
Here's
have
leg
not
one.
established our forecheck at all, meaning Nashville. Have not established their forecheck here.
10 seconds to go. Stralman out of that corner. Here's Anton Stralman. His time is running down in the period. Hagelin will take a half-hearted effort at that would not have counted. Coming up, our first intermission, we'll have Stu Grimson with the player interview from downstairs outside the room. And how about this one? We'll have Carter Hutton and we'll have Rich Clune playing goal ball. Want to find out about that game? Well, stay tuned. Plus, first period highlights and stats and a chat with Predators head coach Barry Trotz. We have all that ready for you, so stay tuned. First intermission coming up in just a few moments from Nashville.
In on the beginning of the second period. But first, let's go back downstairs where Stu Grimson is with Coach Trotz.
Thanks, Mark. Outside the Preds locker room with Coach Trotz. Coach, you called this the trap game today. Club's 3 wins in a row. Your first game back after a road trip. You're concerned about an emotional letdown. How do you feel about that first period?
Well, we'll take the first period. I mean, we talked, I spent all day talking about it, so I've been pounding the drum, but I thought it was a real fast period, and I thought both teams played that pretty well. We can tighten up a little in some areas, and, they forecheck really hard. That's really a key for them, and they got great transition with the D. They got 3 guys in the D that are pretty elite, so I thought it was a well-played period on both sides, and, we got to just maintain that level of play and tighten things up.
Thanks for this, Coach. Good luck the rest of the night. Pete, Terry, back to you guys.
Thank you, Stu. Thank you, Coach. And there are the stats after a 0-0 first.
Shots on goal, 7-5. Scoring chances, 5-3. Everything else along the board, 30 block shots, New York Rangers beat. But the one thing, Pete, when you look at the stat sheet, and you're the home team, and you only have 3 forwards with a shot on net on your forward bunch, that doesn't bode well for your energy, your enthusiasm, or your attack. So I'm thinking right now, Coach Trotz, we come out of that first period. He called it a trap game. He said he's been pounding the drum. Let's see if the enthusiasm and the energy picks up here in the second period, Pete.
So underway with that second period. Nick Spaulding flipped it around Girardi, who came right up to the line to meet him. And the Rangers flip it out. Kreider cutting toward the net. Good recovery by Seth Jones. Here's Girardi.
They said, Pete, scouting this New York team, they had speed. We've seen shades of it here in the first period. And then the youngster, the rookie Kreider, showing good speed down off that right side. Let's see if New York go to the wheels here in the second period to push Nashville back to their net.
It looked like Zuccarello was surprised by that centering pass there by Stepan, so he wasn't ready to get a shot on. As here's the icing call against the Rangers. And looking ahead to the Calder Watch, the Calder Trophy is for Rookie of the Year, Terry.
And 2 of the youngsters, Seth Jones, Chris Kreider on this one, Pete. Almost 24 minutes time on ice, 17.5 for Kreider, so the rookie's getting lots of ice time. Hey, the youngster leads the forwards, Kreider, 12 points. But we realize we're lucky every night to watch Seth Jones, Pete, in this race as a rookie. And as we keep saying, Seth Jones, every time out, just gets better.
You know, who was talking to me about him this morning was Rangers assistant general manager Jim Schoenfeld.
Well, Pete,
he just marveled at him.
You know what? And that's so true that every time we play somebody that hasn't seen us for a while, all the press really want to talk about Seth Jones. All the other broadcasters ask you and I, Stu and Willie, what about Seth Jones? Is he the real deal?
Yeah. Here's Callahan with a shot off the chest of the goalie and a penalty here.
Whoa.
Let's see how everybody is after this collision. So Nash and Mazanets. Now, that's the product of today's game, where you can go to the net and not end up with anything broken.
And driving to the net, now when Nash was
Nashville number 11, minor penalty, hooking.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's an interesting.
Very interesting.
Interesting call. David Legwand gets called for hooking. Now, if you tell me that a guy is as strong and as big a bull as Rick Nash is, that David Legwand could pull him down with a little simple tug from behind, I would have lost a lot of money on that wager, Pete.
As would I.
But the good sign about all that is we got a penalty. Yeah, we're on the penalty kill, but our goaltender Mazonitz is okay because Nash went barreling into him.
And that's a lot to have barreling into. So the second power play of the night for the Rangers. Nash loses to Gaustad. Gaustad battles to get it out, but McDonough wins that battle before Gaustad had his third whack at it. Nash backing his keister into the Nashville zone, and it's carried in offside by Richards. Brad Kovacic, the linesman, right there.
Hey, the Predators take on the Phoenix Coyotes this Monday in Smashville. This special Ford Hometown Heroes and Military Appreciation Night will feature limited edition military jerseys worn by the Preds during warm-ups that will be auctioned off during the game. Educators and first responders will receive $20 off lower bowl and club seats and $10 off upper bowl seats with valid proof of profession at the Bridgestone Arena box office. Puck drops at 7 p.m. Limited tickets available. Call 615-770-7800. Call NashvillePredators.com. Please and thank you.
All right.
There you go.
That was quite the message you had there. All for Monday night. Stepan. And the Rangers go offside for a second time entering the zone in this power play. We've used this quite a bit, but when you go offside in the power play, I guess you got to give credit to the people killing the penalty.
Well, you know, I mentor Fred Shiro says,
exactly.
You're either lazy or dumb. And we don't need either one in our hockey club. And he used to throw greedy in there, too, the odd time. Yeah. If the guy was really away offside, instead of stopping and waiting for the play to go ahead of him, then you really look greedy on it.
I was just given a text by the esteemed head of the NHL Broadcasters Association, Chuck Caton, who said, Terry, there's no betting on hockey.
Well, you know, the only reason you can say that, Pete, because he's coming up to what is 3,000th game pretty soon this season sometime.
Yeah. That one deflects out of play into the stands. You have to be old to do that.
He is old, I'm telling you. Yeah. He's giving us lessons in what we should be doing. His only salvation is his wife, Mary. She's nice.
Yes, she is.
Head coach Barry Trotz looks up and says, okay, the scoreboard hasn't changed. It's still nada. We've got to figure out a way first, kill this penalty off, and then get something going for ourselves.
There are 45 seconds to kill yet. Del Zotto, evidently back in the good graces of the Rangers coaches. Here's Brassard for Girardi, and it rolled off his stick. That gives Gaustad the chance to rip it back down ice. On now for the kill. David Legwand oftentimes will be used to kill the penalty. As the puck comes up.
Hey, the kid decides, you know what? I'll get rid of this thing myself.
Yeah.
So Mazonitz just casually all the way down ice.
Brassard falls down, the puck right into his skates. That pretty well is going to take care of this Rangers power play, as they will end up with no shots on the Nashville net. Legwand out of the box. Nothing here. Still at Bridgestone Arena. McDonough leaves it. Up the wall is put John Moore. Boyle tried to make a play, and Dorsett almost got right to the net with it. Off Victor Bartley. Legwand. Quick slip back to Bartley. And in just ahead of the Predators' Stallberg. Turning with the puck. A backhand try. Boyle deflects to the corner. Tipped by Stallberg. Nudged ahead Colin Wilson. Wilson got it back toward the line, and a little slip there by McDonough. Cross ice for Brad Richards. Bumped into the corner. Bartley waiting as the Predators begin a change-up of forwards. And there will be no icing here as the Predators can't complete that change. Mike Fisher comes in on the forecheck. Cullen dumps it in. Again, the Predators without Patrick Hornqvist after he was hit upper body injury in the first period. So you'll see some different combinations here. Shot toward the net. Mazanec makes the stop. Off the glass it goes. Tipping around Richards did Cullen. Fisher stopped right at the line by Strollman. And it is Yossi picking up at center. Yossi, little give and go, picks up, put it right in front. Cullen couldn't get the shot. Shea Weber, Craig Smith, cutting in, backhander, and Talbot makes the stop. So the Predators had a scoring chance, which did not produce a shot, and then got a backhander on Talbot, which he gloved.
And two of the hottest Predators, Pete, Cullen and Smith, are the two guys that got the scoring chances. The first one, Yossi walks in, throws it right across to Cullen, who had a hole 3/4 of an open net. And then Smith gets fed one. He walks in on a semi-breakaway off the left side. And Talbot to the rescue again. But if that puck hadn't hopped over Cullen's stick on that first try, this board would read 1-0 Nashville.
Face off right side of Cam Talbot. Pulled away by Dorsett. Boyle went leaning for it, and he has to lean. It's a little bit off the target. Del Zotto. And now Moore's pass for Dorsett. Just inside the Nashville line, up off the glass. I actually thought that one was going to go through that hole that is drilled there for the photographer. Going after it low. Hendricks comes in on Moore. There's Nystrom. Long Broussard. Nystrom turns it back. Goes after it on the end wall. Peels back out. Turns, put it right in front. Almost deflected in by Glostad. Flipped by Broussard, and it comes out off the stick of Ryan Ellis. All right. On the horseshoe scoreboard, it's pretty good.
Talbot 3, visitors or home team nothing.
Yeah. Now Nystrom with Stahlberg to the net. Legwand came in late, couldn't get the pass. Linesman just got out of the way of that. Here's Stepan. Stepan tries one broken up Legwand, and a follow-up shot from the corner hit off the outside of the net. Zuccarello. Girardi with a shot that was blocked. Flipped down by Zuccarello. Here's Kreider looking behind the net. Girardi for Kreider. Kreider carrying it way out high. Pursued all the way by Seth Jones. That puck knocked down. Flipped out by Bourque. Off the hand of Girardi. Off the skate of Zuccarello. And offside the Rangers. They had a man trapped inside the line. 6:47 gone in the second. It is still 0-0 in Nashville.
Paul Gaustad. Why? Because we're going to show you the Coors Light freeze cam action shot right here. Gaustad in front of the net. Puck comes across. Nystrom gets wheels, fires it. It's there. Big pad save by Talbot. And then Gaustad tries to get, what's the overhead? Out goes the left pad, makes the save. Gaustad reaches at it, can't get it because Del Zotto just beats him to the puck. So there you are, your Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brew Coors Light.
I like that. You gave that a lot of verb, Terry.
I was just thinking about it. Conjured up a nice vision for me.
Did it? Is the vision involved some frosty glass?
I'm thinking you're right.
Okay. Strange bounce for Richards. Got a shot at Mazanec. Got the stick on it. Buck sort of skipped a little bit there. And Richards, good control as this one goes right on Talbot. And he just managed to flip it around Colin Wilson. Yossi back of the net. Richards blocked him out. There's Nash doing his magic. Pass right in front, and boy, did Mazanec ever make a stop on Callahan. Flipped right out in front, and Mazanec there. The shot hit him. At the line around Stralman. Cullen tries to turn there on Stahl. Stralman carries out. Stralman with the shot. Blockered away Mazanec. Shots are 12-7 New York after 8 minutes of play in the period. Puck is bouncing on Nystrom. Able to backhand it in. There's John Moore. Moore allowed to carry as they collapse, and then his shot. Mazanec make the stop.
Mazanec's the busy man, Pete, right now. New York storming him. Time for Chamberlain's save of the game. Let me show it to you right now. Callahan, captain of the New York Rangers, gets loose in front, snaps one, and Mazanec just comes across, throws the blocker across with him and says, sorry, Captain, not this time. So your Chamberlain save of the game. Slam the door on him. Goaltender Mazonitz keeping this score even at nada.
Off the face-off, and they'll do the face-off again. Derek Brassard, who knows, maybe it took a move to Manhattan for him to really get his career going. He's getting a great chance here under Alain Vigneault. Face-off taken back by Gaustad, swept up for Hendricks, popped up off his stick to center. And into the Rangers bench it is tipped. So they come over to that nice refrigerator, the Predators penalty box, and get a replacement puck.
Oh, how our game has come a long ways, Pete. The pucks are frozen. Everybody knows that the pucks are frozen in a certain area. Remember the old days you used to put them in a bucket of ice?
Oh, yeah.
Bucket of ice in the penalty box. Now we got refrigerators. We got those thermometer things that tell you how cold it is. Think it makes any difference?
Well, yeah, we have seen that. Now, is the question truly a refrigerator better than a bucket of ice?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The key is, in some of the warmer climates, maintaining the ice in the bucket.
Never thought of that.
Girardi right into the Predators bench area there. Everybody okay? Seems to be.
Little promo Pete handed you with the young lady who works up here in the booth. So why would she say this? Want to avoid cooking, she says? Well, come join us at Bridgestone Arena and receive 2 tickets to watch the Preds take on the Edmonton Oilers on Thanksgiving night, as well as 2 turkey dinners with all the fixins in the Patron Platinum Club. All for just $199. Call 615-770-700 to get your tickets now.
So tickets for 2, dinner, all laid out for you on Thanksgiving.
And the fixins.
All cool.
Yeah, what more can we do for you, Pete?
Stolen away by Cullen. Strollman reaches for it. Here's Dorsett. Left side, directed in by Stahl. He got a chance to go right back after it. And then coming in short side with the shot. And a nice takedown there by Klein, as Boyle got the try. Here's Cullen coming right back, and Talbot makes the stop. And behind the play, we got Klein and Dorsett. Oh, my! Did Dorsett take a quick fall?
And this all started, Pete, when Klein dumped the rookie,
He dumped Boyle.
The big fella, behind the net. And Dorsett decided to stick up for Boyle, who's 6'6", 222 pounds. And Kevin Klein just quickly caught him with about 2 in the mush. And down he went. So it started with the dump when Kevin
New York
Klein...
number 15, Nashville number 8, 5 minutes each for fighting.
5 each fighting. And then Klein and Dorsett go at it, and Klein just connects, right levels them through the mush on it. So they'll both sit down, put some ice on their knuckles.
That's interesting that happens, Terry, because I think that was just a good dump of Boyle.
It was a solid check. And I'm not sure what Dorsett took offense to. And I think Boyle looks okay. I hope
He's talking with Tim Peel right now. And Boyle gets over the boards. So we have coincidentals. And that long shoot-in stopped by Mazanich. Off the left boards to center. Tapped by Stolberg. Stepan takes it over. Well, that brought some energy into the stands, did it not? Here's Gabriel Bourque. Runs right into Girardi, who goes down. Girardi recovers and has the puck behind the New York Ranger net for McDonough. Rifles one down. Legwand stops it. Legwand gets it back. Pass to no one in particular, and the Rangers come back. That was Stepan. Now the shot taken by Zuccarello, stopped by Mazanich. So an extra pass cost a chance against.
Again, Pete, we're going to use that phrase, a little too cute. When you have the perfect shot, guys go into the net, pull the trigger, and what happens? Nothing. Except at your end, they come back down 2-on-1 and get a scoring chance.
And your goaltender feels like he's immediately going into the curly shuffle. Right. Taken from Nystrom by Richards, but then Nystrom intercepts. Taken back Callahan. He has Nash all ready to fire. It goes behind, however, to the D-man Moore, who missed the net. Nash loses the puck. Nystrom puts it off the wall, knocked down by Rick Nash. For Callahan. Callahan a backhand feed to the boards. Callahan for Nash. Callahan. Now Richards tried to bank it in front. Taken away by Eric Nystrom. Weber carries in. The shot. And Talbot holds on. 11:21 gone, second period. Still 0-0 at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville.
On the Preds bench with Coach Lane Lambert. Coach, coming into tonight's contest, the penalty kill is 8 of 8. What's the reason for the success here tonight?
Well, I think tonight we've been very aggressive. We've had our opportunities. The key is to not let them set up. If they can set up, they can work plays off the half wall, and obviously Nash is a big-time scorer, and Callahan in front of the net. So we've had some success by pressuring for sure tonight, and we've got to continue to do that if we get another penalty.
Thanks for this, Coach.
Okay, Stu, thanks.
All right, guys, special teams continue to play a key role. Penalty kill, 10 of 10 now, 3.5 games. Back to you.
All right, Stu, yes. And picked up by Terry Crisper, one of the keys here this evening, the icing here on the Rangers. So the Rangers ice the puck. Predators have another face-off in their zone and a chance to apply pressure, Terry.
And the pressure you want, Pete, to come off. We've got to get some shots from the points. In the first period, I think only 2 shots from the points.
Right.
On the defensive part. And with the shots that we've got from the point, meaning Weber and Yossi and Jones and Ellis, they should be feeding them till their arms drop off. Well, maybe not that.
Yeah, that'd be
a little hot.
I hate to see that.
That'd be a little hot.
The puck is tipped into the bench area. But I get your concept there. I mean, if you were a big league manager, you'd send your horse pitchers out there and let them go as long as they could.
Exactly. Whatever you got, use it. And the unfortunate part right now is they can't use Patrick Hornqvist because he is out in the first period. He got hit with a shot, doing what he does best in front of the net. And he looked like he took it in the upper body, chest, went to the dressing room and has not returned and will not return.
The Predators' next game coming up Monday night here against Phoenix. Brassard out of the corner. Spun around by Bartley. To the line. Held in there by Stahl. Popped up. We've seen a lot of pucks popping up in the air here this evening as they flail away. Cullen will have to nudge it further. Craig Smith as Cullen drives the net, following up is Spaulding. Zip behind Spaulding and behind both D-men. Yossi chips in, follows up. Now Smith. Yossi tried to peel back, but the Rangers flipped the puck out. Zuccarello with the honors there. Craig Smith tried to nudge it around Stahl. And the Rangers get position. Long shot in by Stepan. Kreider reverses for Derek Stepan. Taken up the wall. Kreider. And the shot by Moore deflected off somebody in front. From behind the net, Zuccarello getting the work over by chiropractor Dr. David Legwand. Zuccarello and back out to the point, and that shot by Stepan missed the mark. But still, it's sustained time in the Nashville zone. Shot by Girardi in the score. And there's where the Predators pay for that. 13-13 gone in the second. First goal of the night as the Rangers get it to take the 1-0 lead.
And again, we've said so often, nothing good could happen when you have sustained attack by the other team in the defensive zone. And Girardi is the one who fires it from the point, Pete. And I'm not sure if it wasn't redirected or it might have gone straight on through. The only guy who had a shot at it.
McDonough, right?
Yes. Might have been Ryan McDonough. But right now it's Girardi's goal. And it's up there 1-0 on the shot from the point.
So the Rangers have doubled up on shots and now have the lead 1-0. 18-9 the shots on goal total. Zenitz puts it on the wall and cross ice intercepted Taken out by Nystrom. 3-on-3. Predators coming back. Colin Wilson the shot. A rebound given up. Dug off the wall by Fisher. Nystrom for Fisher. Right in front of the net. And Moore takes it away for New York. Richards for Callahan. He stepped around Yossi as he was taken out then by Mike Fisher. So McDonough is going to get credit for the goal as it was originally read by the real-time scoring people. Here's Stralman trying to get one, broken up in front. Nystrom back with it. Ryan McDonough with the redirect. Puck thrown over. Colin Wilson checked by Callahan, and Richards picks up the loose puck. Stralman continues in. That goes off the stick of Mizanets. Rostad gets a return pass, breaking out. So McDonough from Girardi and Zuccarello is the way that one will go on the score sheet. Stralman loses the puck to Craig Smith. Right in front for Gaustad. Bounces away. Seth Jones. Right side is pass to Hendricks. And then Bartley. Bouncing puck on him. Came off the referee's skate down low. As Hebert gets out of the way. Ruslan Hebert. Zuccarello around the boards. Reading that, Seth Jones goes over to meet it with Boyle. And stopped by the Predators bench. And Bartley puts it back into the skates of Kovacic. It's like the old Western. Dance. Dance. Here's Zuccarello. Zuccarello as Hendricks follows Stralman all the way back to the Ranger bench. Coming in now Hagelin. Forced wide for Girardi. Bartley in that trapezoid area. To the point. McDonough the shot tipped. And a backhand trying that rebound by Brassard.
And Mizanets picking up very quickly on Brassard, standing there, realizing he's going to get the puck. Stayed with him, got the pad down. But nobody taking Brassard to task for standing there.
Leguan's pass, the shot, stopped. Leguan couldn't get that rebound, which was fluttering up on him. Under 4 to go in the period. Predators trail by a goal. And we'll have an icing here against the Rangers. Let's take a look again at the goal, which was awarded McDonough for being in front.
And right in front, McDonough, Pete, number 27. Nobody near him. I mean, he's standing there all alone. He watched it. Just a nice little quick deflection and puts it right to the 5-hole. And Mizanets, no chance on those goaltenders, Pete. They've seen it coming. They're playing it. They've got it. And a little tip like that is all it takes just to nudge it off path and drops down through the 5-hole. Even if it only drops into your chest, it's still not bad. But when she drops all the way down the 5-hole, those irritate you as a goalie because you're in the right spot.
Poke checked off Stahlberg, creating an offside at the Ranger line. They played 16 minutes and 18 seconds, and after 13-13, the Rangers took a 1-0 lead.
Let's take a look at Timberland. Hard hits, highlights for the night in this game. Up and down, good skating, but you know what? They're still not adverse to playing the body out here. It's a hockey game. If you don't want hitting, go watch ballet because these guys tonight are going to the body. Especially along the boards, Pete. You're just sort of having a lot of board meetings. And then, oh yes, Mr. Klein and Mr. Dorset had a one-on-one meeting in the neutral zone to straighten things out. There you have Timberland, Pro Hard hits highlights.
It wouldn't be, really, would it, a game involving Derek Dorset and the Predators without a scrap?
It would not be. I mean, when he played for Columbus Blue Jackets, where's Jordan Tutu for the other side of the fence?
Yeah. They love
and Jody Shelley.
Yes.
Blast from the past.
Well, Jody's now on radio and TV in Columbus, so we'll see him there Wednesday night. I expect you to get into it with him.
We got Stu Grimson.
Oh, okay. Is that what we have to do now, even on the broadcast teams?
I guess.
I mean, the New York Rangers They brought in Pete Stemkowski tonight.
That's right.
As we have icing here against the Predators. Hey, basketball fans, Kentucky's young phenoms take the court Monday to battle the Cleveland State Vikings in Rupp Arena. You can catch all the action from Lexington Monday at 7, 6 o'clock Central Time on Fox Sports Tennessee. I wonder if John Tackett will be there for that. Think there's a good chance?
His alma mater.
He's got his copy of the Cat's Paws always in his briefcase. Down the sidewall, heading to the net, Callahan, and a rebound came out, but Callahan was held up going after it. This is Nick Spalding. Lost it there to Nash. Nash with Richards following. Nash trying to get a shot away, can't. It's up to Girardi. He missed it to the short side. Up high on the left board. Nash is almost trying a pool shot there. Onto the wall. And slid ahead for Spalding. Out behind Smith. And that will come back into the Rangers zone where they'll track it down. Quickly out for Boyle. Boyle, the ex-LA King. Dorsett and Yossi down. Dorsett turns back to the inside. Tried to center. Out for Stralman. Mazanec makes the stop. Boyle using that reach and the muscle. Got it back for Stralman. Behind the net, Dorsett. Dorsett and Yossi. Dorsett turns, puts one right on. Mazanec the stop. Backhand try, and Mazanec knocks that one down. As Moore came across and backhanded one, always the most difficult shot for a goaltender to handle.
And I'll tell you why, when he was making that save, Pete Mazanec, there was quite a battle in front. Weber and big number 22, Boyle, going to work. Weber trying to block him out. Boyle trying to retain position in front of the net. That's two big men fighting for real estate in front of the net. Well, Mazanec was making the save. Ain't a whole lot of room for Mazanec in that fight.
No.
Get out of the way.
It's a good thing he was already down on his knees, so he had a chance of seeing underneath it.
Get out of the way.
Stahlberg back, so Yossi gets it to Legwand, taken away from him. Back in the Ranger zone, Girardi. He took the shot that resulted in the deflection by McDonough, and this game's only goal to this point. Hagelin. Legwand nudges ahead. Predators break out. Here is Bork. Bork trying to hit Stahlberg, cutting in. It is intercepted by Hagelin. Lob. Seth Jones got the bouncing puck to settle down enough to get an outlet pass. Around Hagelin, and Legwand twists it in. And then it keeps it away from Bork. 1:05 left in the second. Stop down. Jones. Colin Wilson. And Wilson brings it in. Talbot puts it onto the wall. Right point, Kevin Klein. Didn't settle down for him. Here's Jones, a blast. Stick save is made there by Talbot. Fisher to the corner. Wilson spun around a bit. To the blue line. Klein off the wall for Jones. 32 seconds to go in the period. Colin Wilson tried to center. Jab back to the blue line. Klein to keep in for Jones. Jones a wrister, deflects away. Trying to flip it across in front. Colin Wilson. They continue battling for the puck. Taken back out for Klein. Behind the net. Stripped away from Colin Wilson. And 10 seconds to go. Here's Del Zotto. Left wing. And that goes wide to the short side. 3 seconds to go in the period for Colin Wilson. He takes the long shot, glove down as the period comes to an end. So it is 1-0 the Rangers after 40. Coming up, NHL highlights and scores, Crispy's breakdown, and Stu Grimson with assistant coach Phil Housley. Shots on goal in the period. Marek Mazanec faced 17, and it was 7 shots by the Predators on Cam Talbot. After 40 minutes, the totals read 24 for the Rangers, 12 for the Predators. Second intermission coming right up.
Predators Live after the game on Fox Sports Tennessee.
Rangers lead 1-0 as we head to the third period here at Bridgestone Arena. And there's the man who tipped in the shot for the goal for New York. Terry, what do you have for us here?
Well, you mentioned McDonough. Let's see. Charter high-speed shot of the night. Well, let's give it to Mr. McDonough. Why it wasn't a shot, but Girardi takes the shot. It was the speed coming, and McDonough just redirected the shot that Girardi blasted from the point. And goaltender Mazonitz, no chance on that whatsoever. Your Charter high-speed shot of the game.
Here are the stats after 40 minutes. The Predators picked it up on the faceoffs in the second period.
They dropped it in the shots on goal, Pete. 24-12. The Rangers have picked up that one. They're just flying on it out there. And Coach Housley talking with Stu Grimson in the intermission. He had a couple things. He said, the one thing we have to do better, we need better tape-to-tape passes. And he said, coming out of our zone, and we got to get pucks deep to the net and get some traffic to the net. Now, having said that, the best traffic man in the business, number 27, Patrick Hornqvist, is out, Pete.
Right.
And he took a shot in the upper body
back in the first period.
In the first period, went to the dressing room and never returned. And the other thing, Pete, is you only have one player has 2 shots on net. That's Paul Gaustad. Everybody else, one apiece. Need a little more than that. A little more help for the youngster, because the youngster, Pete Mazonitz, in net, he's done his share for his hockey club to keep them in it.
So the Predators need to get some pressure on. Let's see how they do here in the period. Seth Jones ripping it in from outside left. Stepan tracks it down and delayed offside on the Predators.
So David Legwand, Pete, he's been doing his share for his hockey club in the last little while. I'll tell you that much. He's been getting points. He's got what? Last 10 games, 11 points, 3 goals, 8 assists. Doing his share. Smith and Cullen, Bork, also all adding into it. Now if we can just get a couple tonight, everybody will be happy.
Weber in from outside the line, forcing Talbot to make the stop. Yossi tracks it down. There'll be no icing. As Nash had already read the tendency of Mazonitz to try to play the puck onto the right board. Behind McDonough, but held in Richards. Callahan. Backhanding it right in front off the stick of Mazonitz. And now a lead pass. Wilson curls on the left, looking for someone to come on. Tipped to Mike Fisher. His try was blocked by Callahan. Well, it seems like number 24, Callahan, is all over the ice.
Starts the play, backs up the play, gets back to back check on it, Pete. Check to see there's only 124 on their jerseys out there.
Otherwise, we can get that college penalty for 2 guys with the same jersey. If not 2, maybe 3. And we have a penalty call coming up here, as they have a scramble following up, but that was after the penalty was being indicated, and hooking is going to be the call at 1:20 of the period. Gisela Hebert comes over to make the call.
New York, number 62, minor penalty, hooking.
That's Hagelin.
Hagelin goes in, Pete. And on the move, he gives a little tug going through the neutral zone.
Yeah, Craig Smith has
Smith's trying to get one arm loose here to make it happen. So Nashville, Pete, go back on the power play, which has been their bread and butter in the last 3 or 4 games here. But the last 3 on the road, let's see if it can produce now.
Could be their salvation here.
Could be their Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, that's still a little early.
Still early. Okay, yeah.
Swung around by Bork.
Well, we are greedy, you know.
Yeah, we are. And we could take multiple Thanksgiving dinners.
Let's call this one the Canadian Thanksgiving, and we'll wait for the U.S. later on.
Okay. I got you. Legwand out at the point. Good job getting that around Stahl. But then the Rangers are able to clear. Spinning toward the Nashville net. Hagelin in the box. Predators' second power play opportunity of the night. They did not get a shot on goal first time. See how the Rangers set up the line at the blue line? They're not backing in for you. I'll tell you that.
They force you to dump it in. You're right. Head coach Alain Vigneault, Pete, he says, yep, if you're going to beat us, at our blue line, we're not going to help you do it. We're going to set up a wall and see if you want to try and come through that wall.
If you want to carry it, you better be Jim Brown.
You better be high-stepping coming through there.
That's right. Colin Wilson goes after behind the net.
You'd almost think on a setup like the Rangers set up, have one guy come really, really late, full steam, just lay it for him, like in football, the one where you just hand off to the guy with a full head of steam and let him go.
Yes.
Because they're all going to be flat-footed, meaning the Rangers will all be almost stopped as they're backing in.
And you're right, Terry. That's why tailbacks in the I formation are so deep on the setup, able to generate that speed. So a shorthanded chance there by Dorsett. 13 seconds remain as the Predators still without a shot on this power play. Jones, and the fans wanted to call on Dorsett, and that will do it for the power play. No shots. Hagelin comes out of the box. Still a 1-0 Ranger lead. Stahl left it for Stepan, and Stepan backhand. Lozanitz backhands. Kreider read that. Del Zotto keeps in at the right point. Up the right board. Sent back in by Moore. Kreider. Zuccarello, quick shot, tipped in front. And the Predators were able finally to corral the rebound. Seth Jones carried. Into the skates there of Stallberg. They dump it back in, and the Predators have to go for a change on D. Barkley comes on this time with Klein, who got trapped out there. Now Richards against Gaustad. And then it slides underneath Kevin Klein, who has been trapped as the far man on the change of D pairs. Getting up high with the puck and turning with it is Nash. Girardi took the place of Callahan, who rotates back. Richards fitting against Klein. Nash cycles it. Richards tried to get it in front, and the Predators may have escaped a penalty there, Terry.
I think the referee said, okay, now we're even.
Yeah.
We didn't call one on the trip on Jones. We'll let that one go. We're all even.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Here's Girardi with a shot that was blocked. Richards trying to swing it in front. Hagelin was right there. Richards pass deflects away. Flipped over off the wall. And then flippered pinball style down ice, which will result right here in the icing.
Well, now it's time for Hunt Brothers Pizza Save of the Week. And talk about savings. Well, the Predators Gold Friday Super Sale starts this Thursday during the second intermission of the Preds-Oilers game. Get up to 50% off select Bridgestone Arena suites, events, Nashville Predators games, and merchandise. For more info, visit Bridgestone Arena box office or call 615-770-7800 or go to NashvillePredators.com. I almost call it Smashville, but it's NashvillePredators.com.
That's the legal address on the internet, yeah.
Pete and I love Smashville just for the sound of it, you know.
Going back a number of years now.
Yipper. Oh.
Broken up at the line. Fisher the feed. Barkley with the shot. And now coming down on the trapezoid is Del Zotto. Out on the right wing. Here's Pouliot. Driving to the net, Broussard. And that shot high. And the rebound comes out a long way, but ahead of Nystrom. Stahl. Fighting off Nystrom. Pouliot for Del Zotto. Michael Del Zotto to Stahl. Dorsett got position for the moment there on Spaulding. Sends it back for Josi to Weber. Josi. Here's Craig Smith. Left side, that shot blocked behind the net. Smith trying to sweep it out in front. Matt Cullen to Ryan Ellis. Barkley with the try. A stick went flying off to the side of the net. Smith trying to retrieve his stick. And as a result of all of that, Rangers come out with it and dump it into the corner. Ellis following up Dominic Moore. Here's Boyle, tried to center, deflected right back at Boyle. Here's where the Rangers are at their best, particularly this line, putting the pressure on. Boyle hit the outside of the goal. Ian Bartley taken back. Backhand try Dorsett, tipped in front. And the Predators outlet for Craig Smith, and Smith flings it in. Line change for Nashville. 7:10 gone. Third period. 1-0 New York. Glanitz leaves it for Seth Jones. Predators got a little flow in the game now, but they lost control of the pass. As Terry, you were talking about what Phil Housley was discussing. Predators needing those tape passes.
Tape passes, Pete. Makes for better breaks, better breakouts, better attacks towards the net. Then he says also, you've got to get more pucks in deep and at their net, not just dumping it in and then nothing happening, leg out.
Yeah. Here they come 2-on-1. Zuccarello across. And the score for Darren Stepan. At 7:45 of the third. The Rangers take a 2-0 lead.
And that was a turnover, Pete. Just outside their own blue line, Nashville turns over the puck. And suddenly, they just make them pay for it. Stepan and Stallberg is just stripped of the puck. And down they come. Stepan strips it. And suddenly it's just Zuccarello is coming down. And he just makes the perfect pass to Stepan. And he just simply pounds that home. So victimized on that one, Pete.
Oh, yeah. So the 5th of the year for Stepan. And Zuccarello has been a part of setting up both Rangers goals. Now the Predators coming into the Ranger end. Delzato cleans it up. Single assist after the turnover. Coming up the right board with the puck now. Nice kick. Yossi and the Predators offside, entering the zone. So 8:27 gone. Third period. Rangers have outshot the Predators 28-15. And with goals by McDonough and Stepan, they have a 2-0 lead here in Nashville.
And we've talked all evening long, Pete, about the neutral zone and how the Rangers take it away and step up and do it. Well, on the play here, Stallberg gets the puck. He's trying to come down through that neutral zone and just step up. All of a sudden, Stepan just steps up. Zuccarello picks it up. It's a 2-on-1 just that quick. A nice 2-on-1 pass across. And the youngster, Mazonitz, has no chance in nets on that 2-on-1. But New York, Pete, again, we said all evening, they're really tough. They dominate that neutral zone. If you're going to come through there, you're going to have to earn the right to get through it.
And they try to keep laying the body on in the Nashville end. Pouliot waiting for the puck to slide it low again for Brassard. Onto the right board. Cullen chops at it. Brassard comes over. Centers, but it bounced behind Pouliot to center ice. And Ryan Ellis seems to be shaken up as he hustles off to the Nashville bench. Ellis coming back to the bench. He's going to sit on the bench, though, not go back down the runway. At least initially. Spalling the chip in. Dorsett the retrieval for Stahl. Stahl comes out of the corner. Dominic Moore. And we have a whistle for an offside. 9:25 gone to the third. Here's Ryan Ellis on the bench. Let's take a look at what it was that happened.
Ryan Ellis going into the end boards beat to get the puck. He gets just hammered from behind. And I'm thinking it's number 22 comes in and gets a piece of him. And he immediately beat, or it might have been 62. Sorry, he just got the twos in there. Hagelin. So Carl Hagelin hits Ellis into the end boards, and Ellis immediately just went straight to the bench.
And we have a stoppage here for what reason? So the Predators taking the timeout at 9:25 of the third. Oh, some glass problems, okay? The ice crew is called out. 9:25 gone third period. The Rangers in front of the Nashville Predators 2-0 here in Nashville.
Welcome back into Bridgestone Arena, Preds fans. 2-0 the score. Rangers over the Predators after 2.5 periods of hockey. Just recalling back to Crispy's forward keys to the game, nullify Nash. The Preds really have done that after 2 periods of hockey, holding the big Rangers forward to 2 shots. Under pressure, he's 2 attempts blocked. He missed 2 shots as well. So they've really done that. But I suspect, Coach, if the Rangers hadn't taken a page out of your book or maybe watching the broadcast, because they really have flipped the tables on the Preds here going into the third period. There was just 1 Predators forward, Paul Gostek. You mentioned it. He had 2 shots. So the Rangers really have done a great job of holding those top 3 lines for Nashville off the board.
And now with the face-off at center after the replacement of the curved glass on the side of the Predators bench. The reason for the stoppage, not a Nashville timeout.
And you know what, Pete? Listen to Stu talking. He's dead on right about the fact that when you think about it now, we haven't had a lot of traffic and a lot of shots, meaning doubles, and that probably stems right back to the neutral zone.
Yes.
And that battle in the neutral zone has been largely won by the New York Rangers, both ways, on the attack and on the defense.
Stallman carries his shot, deflects wide. Boyle. We'll have to see now, are the Predators, in addition to being down to 11 forwards after the first period injury to Hornqvist, if Ellis will be able to come back.
Yes, because he got run pretty good in the end board by Hagelin, and he went right to the bench.
Dorsett tried to stuff it, and the Predators, with Seth Jones coming back and had to curl away from Boyle. Bostad secures it. Now just watch how the Rangers put this pressure on, playing the 1-2-2, but making it so difficult for the Predators to break through center. And are we going to get too many men here?
No, they're just going to call door open.
Yeah.
Not in play. Go around it. And right now, Pete, you're right. The Rangers are going to go to that 1-2-2, meaning send 1 man in. He'll do a sweeping forecheck. The 2 other forwards will be outside your blue line, taking away the far wings, each side of the board. And the defensemen, they'll be standing up, taking away the middle of the ice.
Right. Big shot there and a glove save on Weber as that one is flagged down right off the bat.
So Captain Shea Weber, Pete, he's been hot on that power play this season so far. But tonight, the Rangers have found a way to nullify the power play. 5 goals, 5 assists. The captain has 11 points, but his cannon from the point in the power play has been the biggest asset we've had going for us. But like Coach Lambert said, he said the New York Rangers, they're not giving them room to set up. He says they're coming at them. He says they probably respect the fact that you do not let Shea Weber fire that cannon.
To center ice, intercepted by Cullen. But then they get on him right away. Spaulding has to send it back to the D. And there is an answer to one question. Ryan Ellis is back out there.
Good. Enough injuries.
Yeah. He comes in, plays the puck low. They try to get it from behind the net for Spaulding. But it bounces off the back of the goal cage. Spaulding realizes with the Rangers bearing down, he had to get position and possession. Here's Ellis trying to center. That one was blocked and came to the side of the net. And Talbot puts that trapper down on top of it.
Cam Talbot, Pete, this is just his 6th game. He's got a great start this year. 4-1-0. He's 4-0-0 in his last 4 starts, Pete. Has 1 shutout. And tonight, so far here against Predators, he's doing the same thing. He's only 1 or 2 goal shooters, by the way, in the franchise history of the New York Rangers to hold the opposition to 2 or fewer goals in each of his first 5 NHL starts, Pete. The other one?
That's amazing.
Lauren Chabot, 1926-27.
And scoring was down a little bit more in those days, Terry.
Yes. And this kid was undrafted. He was a free agent signed in, I think, March 2010 by the Rangers. Nice find.
And that Madison Square Garden, what, on 58th, I don't think was ever renovated for $1 billion. You played in that building.
Yes, I did.
They get it around Wilson and comes back to the Nashville zone. Flipped in Wilson. Talbot goes back to that area of vision As Richards snapped the pass over for Callahan. Nystrom was on it. Back out come the Rangers with Rick Nash. Flips it in. Mazanec sticks it over. Callahan chops it deep. Richards trying to come out of the corner. Cut off. Knocked down by Josi. Continues strong on the puck, however. Predators down 2-0. And Wilson will flip it in. The line change for Nashville with 7.5 to go in regulation. Delzato using the boards and the glass. Kevin Klein, however, able to keep it in. Talbot traps it. Michael Delzato's pass comes all the way over and taken by Pouliot. Pouliot got a step on Seth Jones's backhander, and Mazanec stopped it. The rebound came over to the side as Stallberg got twisted down. Seth Jones carries. That was chopped at by Brassard, and somehow Jones got in deep with it. Now the Predators have Klein back at the point, and pinball action there on Stallberg. Stallberg wanted to center that, but it was put up onto the wall and flipped out by Pouliot. Picked up by Hagelin. Hagelin lags with it, puts it to the corner. Bourque for Klein. Seth Jones pass. Picked right off by Kreider.
And Kreider read that, didn't he?
Oh.
You and I had the same. Say we both held our breath. Said, "Oh no, he's not going to." Oh yes, he is.
Yeah.
And Jones going from the right to left, total cross ice pass. And number 20, Chris Kreider, the rookie, he was steamboating off the bench, and he read it all the way. And he said, "If I get there quick, I could have a breakaway on this one." And if he had a gun on a stick, he might have had a breakaway going. So the youngster, the rookie Kreider, reading that one very well.
Talking about those Christmas dreams of youngsters, I'm sure that's what he was envisioning at that point in time.
Visions of sugar plums. Or beautiful passes on your stick.
That's right. There you go. Behind the net. Looking for that play. Didn't work with Zuccarello in tight. Coming off the goal cage with it. Josi couldn't pick up from Cullen. Quick shot by Stepan, and that one is hugged by Mazanec. 5:57 left in the third. Rangers in front of Nashville 2-0.
Why are we looking at Marek Mazanec? Because the Bridgestone Performance moment of the game is going to be him. A pass from Richards behind the net to Captain Callahan in front. He snaps it immediately. You won't see it, but watch this one. Watch the blocker. Snafu. Thank you, Marek Mazanec. That is your Bridgestone Performance moment, a blocker save against Callahan. Bridgestone, your journey? Yep, our passion.
Richards pulls it back for Mark Stahl. He did not have a lane there. Nystrom knocked down. Now Shea Weber. 2-0 New York Rangers. Weber's pass was blocked. Try another route to get out. Mike Fisher steps around Nash. Fisher comes on. Nystrom shot went wide and a rebound shoveled by Colin Wilson. No. So Wilson had a chance there. Shea Weber, traffic in front. Missed the net to the short side. Into the skates of Richards. Slow to get up behind the play now and struggling back to the Rangers bench is Anton Stralman. Leg one, little give and go at the line. His shot high as he worked that give and go with Bourque. Flipped, not out. Here's Bourque picking up. Bourque goes behind the net, lost the puck to McDonough. Stallberg in some traffic. Dorsett nudges it. Boyle. And now it's McDonough. Goes up the left side of the Rangers exit. Dominic Moore. Mazanec behind the net. Boyle couldn't stop it. Stallberg does with a long pass cross ice. And now the shot by Ellis bounced up a bit, but he was able to cover up as Cam Talbot smothered it ultimately.
And on the attack, Pete, the Predators getting some scoring chances. Fisher to Nystrom. He walks down, gets it off his skate, just puts it by the net. Wilson picks up the rebound off the backboards and just can't get the stick out, or the puck rather, out in front. And then Weber, he cranks one, and he puts it off a piece of the goaltender, wide of the net on that one. So Nashville trying to dig their way back in here with Nystrom, Wilson, and Weber firing shots at the net. But Mr. Talbot maintains his shutout.
Cullen on the left side of Gaustad and Hendricks. Jones and Klein at the points. Andy McElman, the linesman, drops it. Gaustad spun with it, but it's pulled away. Girardi. And very slow to get up out of that scrum as the shot goes wide for Hagelin. Matt Hendricks was shaken up on the play. Hendricks trying to shake it off, but in the D zone now. Seth Jones off his skates. So Kevin Klein picks up under 4 minutes to go. And Hendricks, you can tell, is just not right. Penalty coming up here as Hendricks gets back to the bench. And slashing is going to be the call at 16:11. Matt Cullen. Okay. Rangers go on their third power play, leading 2-0. Nash, Richards, Callahan, Girardi. They're the power play unit for the Rangers, who have not converted, but there's one that bounces right to Richards, and Mazanec's got just enough on it. Girardi. Here's McDonough. Girardi the shot. Rebound left there. Mazanec blocked the shot in front as he was able to stop Callahan. Puck taken out by Fisher. Right side with it now. Nystrom goes down against McDonough. Fisher with it. Slides away. Mike Fisher. Blue line. Weber off the pipe. Shea Weber off the pipe. Short-handed at 16:51. Nash. In across the line. Puck comes back out to center. Strowman, who had labored off the ice on his previous shift. Now Nick Spaulding. Puck tipped into the Ranger zone. Step in right side with it. Curling out. Here's Zuccarello across the line. And his shot took off a little bit on him and went high to the corner. 46 seconds remains on the penalty. Kreider comes out from behind the net to the corner. Tried to center. Gets the puck back. Del Zotto stops it at the line. Deflects inside. And the Predators are able to clear the zone.
So Weber, Pete, trying to pull his team within one. Clanks one off the goaltender's best buddy, the post.
Here's Zuccarello. Kreider couldn't get it. Tried by Girardi. And then getting the right pad on it was Mazanec. Here's one length of the ice. Long there. 7 seconds to go. Del Zotto spins away from Leglock. Dorsett leaves it. And now the Predators back at full strength. 2 shots on net for the Rangers on the power play. Quick shot by Kreider. No. Rebound turned over. And there's a shot with a lot of traffic in front of Mazanec. 1:35 to go. Cullen comes in. His shot was pulled wide to the short side. Weber coming down. The Predators' net is empty here. Predators have goaltender Marek Mazanec. Extra attacker on, down 2. Weber from the line. Quick shot. Off the pipe again! How can that happen? As the puck is flipped toward the Nashville net and wide. And icing on New York.
So Pete, they're trying oh so hard to get that goal to close the gap. Weber again, Pete, after hitting one post, puts a second one right off the post. The first one goes. And then here's the next one, Pete. That was the first one twice. Let's take a look at the second one. Bingo. And then right behind it, Wilson couldn't corral a rebound. So Weber has put, in the last minute here, 2 right off the post.
So the Predators taking their timeout here at 18:55. So Mazanec to the bench roughly with a minute and a half to go in regulation. Lane Lambert drawing out the scheme. So either of those shots off the post, and you're thinking much differently about this. Ulf Samuelsson lecturing the players nearest the Rangers bench. Jay Weber, 2 posts hit in the last few moments. One of them shorthanded, and one is part of the extra attacker. To the right side of Cam Talbot, the faceoff. Checking out the alignment. All around the circle. Weber left side. Josi right on that flip-flop. Here is Roman Josi. Under a minute to play now. Predators down 2. Josi steps around to Fisher. From the right corner, the extra attacker out for Nashville. Try off the glove of Talbot. Picked up Colin Wilson. Wilson with a pass over Craig Smith. Josi tries to control it, and he does ultimately. Girardi couldn't get it. Here's Colin Wilson trying to get it in front. Craig Smith held in by Weber. 32 seconds remain, and the puck is covered up on the side by Cam Talbot. Predators have been doubled up in shots on goal by the Rangers. Pretty much the pattern throughout the game. 34-17 after a fairly even first period. So the Rangers have had 27 shots in the last 2 periods, still with 30.6 to go. And the Predators have managed 12. Cullen in on the draw against Stepan again. Again to the right side of Talbot. To the corner it goes. And swept out, and that will go all the way back to the Nashville zone. And I thought the Predators actually sent that back there, but they're going to get the benefit of an icing call. Wednesday, the Predators will be in Columbus to take on their new Eastern Conference rivals, the Blue Jackets. Catch all the action starting at 6 p.m. Central the night before Thanksgiving, right here on Fox Sports Tennessee. That's our next game on TV. Predators will be hosting the Coyotes here. Tickets available for that one Monday night. Coyotes played Anaheim today. 13 seconds to go. Josi behind the open Predators net. Fisher onto the sidewall. There's Gostad trying to take a shot, and a swing and a miss there. Falling down at center ice. Puck poked out, and that will do it. The Rangers with a shutout victory over the Nashville Predators here tonight. For the game, the Rangers with 34 shots on Marek Mazanec, and the Predators with 17 on Cam Talbot. It was 10-5 the shots on goal in the third period. As the Rangers win this one 2-0, they go to 12-11 for the season. The Predators now 11-10-2. Do stay tuned. We'll be coming back in just a few moments with Predators Live.